What's up, guys? Welcome back for the second part of how to prepare your garden for the winter season. In this video I will explain what I decided to plant in my glass greenhouse and why I chose those kind of varieties in order to have a winter garden. I filmed the introduction inside because outside it's raining, classic London, but let's go in the garden and check out the actual situation of my glass greenhouse. The last thing I was talking about in my previous video was tomato plants. If you didn't have the chance to check my previous video, you can check it in the right corner of the screen. As I said, I removed most of the branches from these plants in order to give them the chance to push all the energies into the ripening of the fruit. But in the last week or so, the temperature dropped 10 or more degrees. So I decided to remove completely these plants to make some space for my winter garden. What I'm gonna do is the same thing I did for my other planters, which means no-till gardening. I'm just gonna cut the base of the plant, leaving the roots in the ground until they decompose and turn into new nutrients for the next plants that I'm gonna plant in these planters. What I'm gonna do with the unripe tomatoes, I'm just gonna mix it with my ripe tomatoes in order to make some tomato passata, which means sauce in Italian. In this way, I'm gonna balance out the acidity and the sweetness of the tomatoes in order to have a nice balanced flavor for my sauce. As I explained in my previous video, I don't chuck away any of the branches. I just reduce them in small pieces so that I can add them to my compost and they're gonna decompose quicker. A quick trick about marigolds, in order to save seeds for the next season, is to let them dry completely on the plant. You just grab one of those dry flowers, remove the petals, and the content is going to be dry seeds that you can save for the next season. I usually store my seeds in small paper bags. They are ideal for long time conservation, but I'm gonna do a whole new video about how to store seeds. Now that the greenhouse is empty, what we're gonna do is to simply top up every raised bed with some more amendments. In the previous video I explained how to do it, and I'm just gonna add some good compost in order to prepare the raised bed for the new plant that I'm gonna add to this planter. This planter, for example, was built by layering different materials. I started with 20 centimeters of ivy, then I added on the top some good soil, and then some perlite, compost, and on the top just a layer of mulch. So every year what I do, twice a year, I just add like a thick layer of compost and then I top up again with mulch. This is a perfect example as it was topped up till the top, but now it's 10 centimeters lower, which means the decomposition started at the bottom, and so I can top it up more with some compost and mulch. So I'm planting a few varieties of really resistant vegetables for the winter. So the first one is pak choi. It's ideal for broth, or you can use the baby leaves to have a nice salad, and it has a really peppery flavor. The next variety that I'm gonna plant is some autumn king carrots. They're really ideal to harvest throughout the winter, and also I prefer them to have it baked with a bit of paprika that we harvested last year and we made into powder and we're still using right now. The next variety that I'm gonna plant is spring onions. You can harvest those throughout autumn and they're ideal to have raw to sprinkle on top of any sort of dish. Another must-have for your winter garden is cabbage. You can harvest that throughout autumn or early winter before the first frost. I love to have that in broth, especially having cabbage rolls with rice inside. Leek are great to be harvested throughout October, November and December. This variety is King Richard, is really resistant to cold and it's unmissable for your winter garden. Winter butterhead lettuce, it's ideal to harvest throughout the whole winter and it's a really resistant plant with a buttery texture, ideal for salads or for any sort of dish that you want to enjoy during the winter months. I use organic nutrients in order to give a kickstart to the plants that I'm gonna transplant in every raised bed. You can find the link for this product in the description of the video. In order to transplant leeks, you could either carefully split the roots and plant every leek separately, or just plant them closer to harvest micro leeks with a lighter flavor. We finally finished to clean up the greenhouse and clean up the whole garden. We made some space for the winter garden and I'm really happy with the final result. Also, we managed to harvest some vegetables from the garden and now we're gonna go upstairs to enjoy the veggies that we harvested and have a nice healthy dinner. I hope you enjoyed this video of transforming our urban garden and preparing everything for the winter season. If you liked what we did, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for a new video next Friday at 12. Thank you very much for watching and see you next week.